Sound check, check it, check it, 1, 2.
This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
And he knows as soon as he gives it to her, he's gonna give her his heart to her too.
And we'll have kids and get married. That's too far.
Holy shit.
And what I was going to give to her was like a gift for Valentine's Day. Just clear that up. And the person I was giving it to, of course, is my wife, Marnie. So then she was just a girl.
Nice cover story.
Just a woman I knew. It is the 5th of July, for my people in the South, of 2023. My name is Corey Winfield, and
I'm Justin Burke.
Justin's joining me on this podcast today, this very fine podcast. A lot of people have been asking me, how come Marnie doesn't get on the podcast anymore? Because I don't want her on the podcast anymore. Whoa, she is busy.
If you get all up in it.
Yeah, no, she is super busy, and I feel bad, when I know she's had a 12, 13-hour day, and then I come on, I'm like, hey, honey, let's go do a podcast.
Right.
And then she'll go, okay. So, like, especially when we're at home, I'll go in the office there, and I'll go, okay, I'll be in there waiting. And I wait like 30 minutes, and then I start to get mad, and I go and I look, and she's falling asleep. I'm like, I was in there waiting, honey. And I don't know, and it's not her fault. She didn't start a podcast and say, I'm going to do a podcast 3 or 4 times a week. I did that.
Right.
Does she join me on? Does she have fun on them? Absolutely. And it's something that she likes to do. But again, when she's as busy as she is, like at the end of the day, when she plops down, it's like, all right. I don't mean like plop down, like she's just like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like when she gets home to relax, last thing she wants to hear is, hey, let's go do a podcast. Let's go talk some more about recovery stuff.
Exactly.
And it's hard, but that's okay. I got peoples.
That's right.
I got peoples. And it was hot as hell the other day when we did that podcast.
Heck yeah, it was.
Like who was I talking to about that?
Your mom?
No. Well, my mom did mention the podcast later and how I was mean to you, which I wasn't.
I don't think you were.
No, it wasn't.
We were having fun.
Yeah, we were having fun in the hot heat. But somebody might have been Adam. It might have been Adam on Sunday when he was doing his recovery dad's meeting.
Yeah. Because
I was here on Sunday, and yeah, it was him, because we were talking about how hot it was, and I was like, I felt bad for Justin, because the original plan was that you were going to drive the volunteers down to the Cherry Fest to volunteer.
Right.
And then I decided, hey, I'm going to do a podcast from there, so let's you and I go down there and do that. And you weren't expecting to be out in public. You just thought, hey, I'm going to drive these people there, drop them off. Not a big deal. And so you were wearing some pants, some hot-ass pants, and you wore a shirt that I gave you, another shirt that you put over that shirt. And it was just like, okay, well, I felt bad for Justin because he was not prepared for this. I just kind of was like, hey, let's go do a podcast. You're like, okay.
Mile-long walk just to even get there.
Yep, and then we couldn't just get dropped off. We had to park somewhere, which we weren't supposed to. And, yeah, carry our equipment up to the thing and then pay for the pancakes, which I didn't bring enough money with me, so you actually had to cover that. So it was a bad day for you, really, and it was hot, and you were wearing them jeans, and it was probably 150 degrees out there in the sun.
It felt like it.
Oh,
it was miserable.
It was bad, man. It was really bad. And
today's just as bad. I feel sorry for our guys volunteering down at the ice cream tent.
Yeah. At least they're in the ice cream tent.
Right.
I wonder how much ice cream you could eat before they would kick you out of there, or if they would like try to make you pay for it.
I'm not for sure. We should have went down there and found out.
I got stuff to do, like this podcast. I got this AC to enjoy.
Right.
No, I do. I'm enjoying it. What do you think is a better invention? Air conditioning or PlayStation 5?
Air conditioning.
Okay. Air conditioning or tampons?
Air conditioning.
Yeah, because we're men.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't use tampon for anything. I mean, maybe it'd help me with something, maybe. Let's see. The automobile. Well, that's kind of weird because it has air conditioning.
Right. First ones didn't.
That's true. Okay, the Model T or air conditioning?
The Model T.
Oh, that's where you messed up. Because you could ride a horse still and be just fine. Horses probably did better than the Model T did. Like you'd probably get there faster. You know, we get stuck in the mud or the snow.
Yeah. But it was learning experiences. If we didn't have the Model T, we wouldn't have vehicles that we do today.
Yeah.
It's like a period of evolution, you know?
But wasn't it the tire that really changed the car?
I think so.
Wasn't it like Goodyear people?
Yeah.
They're the ones who really kind of put things in motion to have the car actually go places. Because it seems like they were just, you know, those bikes that we used to get when we were kids, like 3 or 4, those tricycles, and they had like them hard ass plastic wheels.
Yep.
Isn't that what they used to use?
Honestly, I don't know.
Our car game knowledge of the 1900s is weak.
Yes, very much so.
And we accept that.
Yep.
Some people are like, no, it's not, man. I'm good, bro. I know it all.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You ever meet those people in recovery?
All the time.
They're like, oh, man, I know what I'm talking about.
All the time.
I know what I'm talking about because I'm talking about me.
Right.
I can tell you what worked for me, what didn't work for me. I can tell you signs. You know, when I hear somebody say something that I said, and I'm like, oh, okay. But, I mean, just don't use drugs.
Exactly.
Don't drink ever, and you'll be all right. Maybe.
Right.
You'll have other problems. You'll have other things, but at least you won't be drunk doing it or high.
Exactly. I tell my daughter to stay away from all that stuff all the time.
And she's not going to listen probably because you didn't.
Oh, I'm sure she's not.
So how are you going to deal with that? Your daughter is
12.
okay. I almost said she was 13.
Next month.
Dang, she's going to be married soon.
Ooh.
You're going to be grandpa soon. For the next 10 years, she could be a grandfather.
Man, that's scary.
Hell, next 5 years, you could be a grandfather. If you want to look at the science of it all.
Now I'm starting to feel old. Real old. Thanks a lot.
Wow. 40-year-old grandfather. It happens all the time.
Well, at least I could be young enough to enjoy them.
That's a shot. Huh?
Maybe even see great grandkids.
Dang, son. I wanted to make sure I didn't know my great grandkids.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know if they deserved it. I don't know if they deserve it.
Oh,
They deserve to meet me.
that's messed up.
Because no, seriously, ask any great grandparent out there now. I don't know how many you know. Just ask them. Isn't this a pain in the ass? And they'll say, yeah. I don't remember half of them. None of them like me. They always want something for Christmas. And I don't have enough because here's my Christmas budget. Now I got 18 of these MFers running around. I can't afford all this. Yeah,
Right.
I'm doing it right, bro.
Retirement isn't all that great.
That's what I heard. You know, people dying all the time.
Right. Your best friend dies, and then you're left with nobody.
Yeah. Yeah. My uncle's kind of going through something like that, and I feel bad for him, man. I really do. I think about him a lot, but I don't ever reach out. Is that bad?
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks like, okay, if I reach out, who's going to answer the phone? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it my uncle, or is there something else going on there that's not going to be him? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just don't know. And I guess that part of that scares me. And I'm not trying to call to talk to him about, hey, man, might want to not do that stuff. Because I couldn't imagine the pain of that, man. I couldn't even imagine. I was telling my dad about that. So
That would be pretty hard.
yeah, and I was like, I just couldn't imagine the pain.
I know I took it really hard when my best friend's dad died last summer, you know, and just being around him for all those years, you know, it was rough. I can only imagine what my buddy was going through, you know. So now we talk to each other every day, still do, and just make sure we're both on good vibes in life.
That helps.
Yeah. Helps me. He's lost his mom and his dad already. So, poor guy. He's a big supporter of my recovery. He's watched me go through and do all kinds of dumb shit over the years.
Those guys are always cool when they stick around, or at least not, because if you'd have kept on your other BS, he wasn't going to stick around probably, or from afar he would. But
yeah, he would have stuck around from afar.
But he wouldn't try to get too close or actually get to care too much about you anymore.
Right.
But the ones that do, and they don't have to talk to you every day, but when you do catch up with them, you know, it's like you didn't miss a beat. And it's like to see those people care about you still, and like that are in your corner that you don't even think about sometimes, you know, but to know that they're still there.
Right.
You know, I'll drop somebody's name. I dropped my friend Brian's name on the podcast a couple months ago and didn't even know he listened. And he's like, bro, like, you know, and I was like, oh, sorry. No, I didn't say sorry, but I was talking about him and how I think I was a bad influence on him, and I don't ever talk to him anymore, you know, and it's like one of those things that I kind of wish I did, you know. He was an awesome dude, you know, I loved hanging out with him, and yeah, I had no idea he listened to the podcast.
Nice.
So it was like, oh, okay. Yeah, those people that you sometimes forget about, not like forget, but you would think, well, that's the last person I would think would take an interest in my recovery, you know. But then you start thinking about it, and you're like, well, no, because they've been around for a minute.
Right. I got a buddy like that. Like we talked about during the pancake breakfast, you know, how I called him wanting to go get messed up pretty much, just try to get over what I was going through. And, you know, we used to party all the time back in the day, and he, by surprise, you know, he's got like 6-8 months clean. And like, I felt bad after calling him wanting to go get messed up, you know, because of my divorce I'm going through and whatnot, which feelings are pretty normal there. But it showed me a different side of him that I've never seen, because he actually cared about my recovery. And then I felt bad that I was jeopardizing his by wanting to go drink with him, even though he was sober, and I didn't know that. So I could have jeopardized what he had going on with his wife and 3 kids. And yeah, it could have been bad news for everybody.
I'm glad you called him.
Right.
You know, it's funny it works out that way. But yeah, that's, you know, you can look at it like, man, I almost took him out with me, but nah, there was a reason for that, and that was perfect person to call, man.
Yeah, and we're childhood friends, you know. Been friends ever since we were in high school, middle school. Hung out pretty tight, and still do to this day. We don't talk to each other as much as we used to, but I mean, we still talk, go fishing here and there.
Everybody's like that, and it's just great, you know, when you can finally catch up with them or try to get them to go drinking with you. And they're like, nah, dude, not doing it.
And then tell you how you're going to mess up your life and everything else. And then you really start thinking about it. You're like, yeah, I really don't need to do that. You know, we joke all the time about going back to rehab, but, you know, I only went once, and I've managed to stay clean for 3.5 years. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty remarkable, you know. I mean, I said I was going to quit all the time on my own back in the day, but I always had those excuses. But I didn't know any better, though. No one actually showed me anything. Like, here, well, you need to go to rehab. Here you go. Go figure your life out. Never had those things. I just always got told, you need to work more. Go work more. You got too much time on your hands. So, which I don't recommend for anybody, because you got to have time for yourself, but do it in smart ways. Good hobbies.
Yeah, good hobbies. We're doing a disc golf thing. I love our doorbell.
I know.
I think there's a way to turn that down.
I think so too.
But yeah, we're doing a disc golf. We're doing a disc golf thing, and I don't disc golf. I don't think you do.
I used to. I don't own any discs, so
we're gonna supply them apparently.
Nice.
It's on the flyer. It's coming up in a couple weeks. There'll be more details on the website and app and stuff. If you're in Traverse City area or you want to make a trip out of it and come hang out with us in disc golf, that's going to be a thing. But you were talking on our Lost episode podcast about skydiving.
I still think that would be fun.
And if you want to listen to that episode, it is on our app, and only our app. And it was a pretty damn good episode.
Yeah.
But what happened was when I pulled up the Adobe Audition to record it into, it sounded fine. Like we hit record and we started talking to our mic checks, and I hit the button once and it sounded fine. So then we ran with it. Well, I knew this, but I didn't feel like doing it because my other computer at home and the other laptop I have, I don't have to change the hardware settings.
Ah.
So like, oh, you got to do the ASO thing or whatever it's called. I can't remember. And so I just left it. But it sounded fine when we hit the playback. I'm like, all right, cool. So then we record this, I don't know, 25-minute episode, and you go to play it back, and it's doing like that, which I was able to cut the intro off, and then I put another intro on there. But it just still sounded real like crap, man. But I didn't delete it. It's out there, but it's only on the app.
Learning experience.
Yeah, it's called The Lost Episode, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. So go find it and listen to that. And yeah, we'll talk about skydiving then. We're not going to talk about it now, but it was an amazing podcast.
It was.
Justin had amazing feedback.
It's fabulous.
Yes, it really was. So go check that one out. And that'll do it for this one. This one's a little shorter than that one was, but that's fine. It's not about the size.
No, it's not.
It's about the content. Which
quality.
Hopefully there was something in here that somebody could listen to and take away something from it. You know, if not, well, there's like 787 more episodes you can listen to.
Right.
And you might find one that you relate to. And yeah, if you have the app, it's really easy to go through the old episodes. You can just pull it up by year, go into the podcast archive, and
nice. That works out great.
It really does.
Very fabulous.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back. What is today? Wednesday?
Yes.
Maybe tomorrow or Friday.
Sounds great. Later.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. We hope you come back for our next episode.